a new year. When a child is born, in fact there's one being born right now, I was asked to pray for it, it's happening by caesarean section last year in the travelling community. When a new child arrives, there is always a question mark. Which way will this go? And actually the first sacrament I ever celebrated was when I was a deacon. I was asked to do a baptism, and I remember going back to my cell and writing a sonnet on the question mark. Which way will this life, and therefore eternity, go? We give the passport. Will it enter or not when the time comes? Well, something of that is in this new year. Which way will it go? Let's put the brakes on for a second. Which way do we want it to go? Go it will. We have but to look back. Last year went the same. It's not that long since we were here before, thinking the same thoughts. And in the meantime, one or two have gone on that we knew well, unexpectedly sometimes. I want to dwell for a few seconds on the crunch, the actual getting there or not, because all the rest can actually go comfortably on a back burner compared with that. And as you know, the whole ploy of Old Nick is precisely to make sure that the reverse happens, that we only see the immediate, the immediate, the immediate, and the crunch is not thought about. Listen then to this. I picked this up by chance because somebody who comes to our Mass gave me this for Christmas. And when something comes to us, it's as well to be aware that the Lord is coming to us in it sometimes. We don't push it away with other things to do. It might be the Lord coming. I have a word for you, open it. And this hit me actually only this morning while waiting for you to come. What happens? Listen, what happens. This was from a volume entitled The Souls in Purgatory in the Life of Saints. Now there are a few gems here. Before entering heaven, souls spend on average 30 to 40 years in purgatory. After death, every soul is submitted to a particular judgment. As you know, the particular judgment, it concerns us, and no one else knows about it. It seems that at the end of time we will know about it, and it happens, the general judgment, in part because of God's fairness. We have a right to know certain things because we don't pull each other either up or down on our own. And if people end up where they end up, for good or for bad, it's because they've been led there sometimes. And so there's a balancing out of things and a wider picture at the general judgment. It's no longer entirely private. So here we go. Every detail of terrestrial life passes before its eyes. Now that's actually common experience. The little people will not yet have had that experience, but some of us might have if we're a bit older. An accident. One thinks that one is about to die. A car accident, for instance, or some sudden fall with big possible consequences. What happens? One starts immediately under shock to see, what if I die? And one starts to see one's state of soul. And they say that those who are in a moment where that can be prolonged, e.g. falling down a distance, one thinks of those in the war, for instance, who fell from these Spitfires. They had a while to fall. Well, it seems that they see quite a lot between A and B. Well, that actually is what happens also immediately after. And we know about it from now the many, because of modern science, people who die and come back after heart failure or whatever, an operation or whatever it might be, and start to move on. They do actually see their life and things they'd quite forgotten about, and also this bit, that things they had no awareness of were actually important, for good or for bad. Because at that point, they're hanging on to straws, and those straws might be little acts of charity, which even on the human level were generous and might just help to tip the balance when there's not much else left. Except for a rare preparation and a death in God's friendship, it will flee on its own to purgatory. Now that's what a lot of people actually who have been there and back or whatever are aware of. The soul itself propels itself either towards or against. It sees its state and knows full well that at that point to go towards God in that state is to go to a burning fire. So it wants time. Now things start to happen. It cannot accept the face-to-face encounter with the Divine Majesty unless it is pure or purified. At the moment of the particular judgment, certain souls will only see St. Michael or their guardian angel. This is, however, a marvellous piece of heaven, because even that vision is going to be something else, isn't it? Now also the guardian angel is coming into play there, and St. Michael. He's very much involved at that last moment because of the cosmic battle taking place. And the guardian angel too. Just think now, if that guardian angel loses that one for whom he's devoted all his existence since the birth of that child, if that person is lost, what the pain of the guardian angel would be. It's in the will of God, doesn't protest, but just think of the pain of the angel who can't do any more for the soul who's pushed away every inspiration, even at the end. And by the way, the last pushing away is not necessarily dramatic, it's just the logical consequence, because the soul takes on an orientation with its multiple choices. It says yes, 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 therefore it's in a yes state. It says no, 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 so the last one again is just no. But it's already happened way before, upstream. It's just carrying on logically, refusing the good, refusing the good. And that can't go to see God. It's refused it all along. Anxious to enjoy, finally, the vision of God and his paradise, the soul's impatience becomes a veritable martyrdom for the soul. It's made for that, there's no more distraction, just can't wait to get there. There's a technical term for that, it's the pain of loss. The other one, the pain of sense, is when the senses, now the spiritual senses that correspond, are being burned out there where they've misbehaved. And that, with time, will diminish, leaving only this last bit, the desire. So this goes on to what is classic, that there are three levels. And it says what is always said, that the lowest level is pretty close to the other place and participates in some of its elements. And also that at that level nothing gets to them, except it seems a little bit on All Souls Day, something there. Because they're so far away down there that it's pretty abandoned. So at least they're glad to be there. Then of course there's the process of getting closer. Now, three levels of purgatory, very near hell, and then the lower purgatory differs from hell in that the soul does not rebel against God. The divine will is there. It does not despair or does not wish evil on others. On the contrary, it thanks God for having saved it despite its faults, and it prays for the conversion of loved ones still on earth. That actually is corresponding almost to the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, although he doesn't make it actually. In lower purgatory, that's therefore not quite so far down, souls cannot, that's right, that's the sin there. Souls cannot benefit from the relief offered by relatives and loved ones, except, it says, on all All Saints' Day it says here, but that weekend is pretty intense for them. It does, a little bit of help comes to them at that point, it seems. And then, however, in ordinary purgatory, souls benefit from the refreshing alms offered on earth. But it goes on with indicating that if they've not helped other people, then there's a justice there as well. Therefore, it's in our own interest to be aware that we need to help those in purgatory. And then the last one of all, there's no more burning out of sense. There's just this huge desire. Now, just bear in mind that there's no point in having that huge detention. It can be avoided if we use the means given to us. One thing, if we go to confession on a fortnightly basis, all the plenary indulgences in the meantime are gained if in the morning we form the intention to gain them. And if in the day we say one Our Father and one Hail Mary for the Holy Father's intentions. So remember that, because you can gain plenary indulgences more than you think. If you spend half an hour in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament, if you do the Stations of the Cross, if you do the Rosary in the family, if you do half an hour's Lectio Divina, prayerful meditation of the Scriptures, and then a lot of other ones which are there in the Handbook of Indulgences, which you can get on Google. It was done under Paul VI and has not been changed. Therefore, they're the plenary ones. And then there are a whole lot of partial ones, all the time, all the time, all the time. The Angelus, taking holy water, with the formula in the name of the Father, so all these, all the time, they're partial ones. Therefore, if we take these seriously, and this is the point, don't play with, in inverted commas, venial sin, but, and positively, love God in the time we have, there's no need to be doing that detour. And in the manuscript of Purgatory, which I translated from the French, it's a different one again here, that one there, it indicates that some souls, out of the mercy of God, are allowed to spend part of their purgatory there where they've offended, e.g. in church. If they've not behaved properly entirely in church, they might be there. That's why if you're in church, sometimes there are actually souls around there. Okay, I finish. What am I saying? We sometimes in Ireland have this mentality of just getting there. We keep out of mortal sin. And a lot of the preaching going on for a long time in Ireland was based on keeping people out of hell, basically, what they had to do. But the other bit was sometimes not offered. They were not invited always to go to this element of, there's no need at all for venial sin. And the proof is this. In a Catholic country, you get a lot of unhandled venial sin from people who go every day to church. Bad language, smoking, too much drinking, bad use of time on the media. On it goes, without talking about those other ones like explosions of temper, never handled. Even in the car. It's all stuff that we, as it were, don't look into. It's so normal. But it's all stuff that one day will come back to us 1 minute after death. You never sorted out the venial sin. Why? Due time, when we could go straight into the beatific vision, if we only love.